98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you today? It is the last day of April. The 30th of April, a month that felt like it was 100 days long, but it wasn't. It was actually shorter than other months, 30 days. Anyway, the last day of April, so that means tomorrow is the 1st of May, which means, does that mean it's officially summer tomorrow? Is the 1st of May the start of summer, or is it the 1st of June? I don't know. I never understand the seasons. Anyhow, it is the 1st of May, and the weather's meant to be all right for the bank holiday weekend, cheering up a little bit. Although I know a lot of people were delighted to see a little bit of rain to dampen down things a little bit, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, we are here until midday today, and we've, as always, an awful lot of stuff to get through. And if you have any comments on anything that you hear on the programme, you can call us on 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Now, first off on the programme, and I'd love to get your opinions on this, we have heard numerous reports over the last few days of hairstylists, beauty therapists, nail technicians flouting lockdown rules and doing nixers by calling to customers' homes to do their hair. In other cases, some are opening their businesses on the sly and letting customers in the back door. Some are even as brazen as to advertise it on social media. Now, in a moment, I'll be talking to a hairstylist who wants to speak out about this behaviour. We're going to be calling her Sandra, and we are disguising her voice because she doesn't want to be recognised. And I want to find out whether or not you have witnessed this. What do you think should happen to a business owner who is either opening their salon on the sly to let the odd customer in for a haircut or colour, or is popping around to people's houses to do the same thing? Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Or maybe you think, it's not that big a deal. One customer, one hairstylist, grand. Stick a mask on and you'll be grand. Here is what Sandra had to say on her Facebook post, or contacting us, should I say. I just want to see if you can ask your listeners, why do they think hair salons, barbers, beauty therapists are closed down? For their safety and ours. So what makes my blood boil is the hair salons that are opening their back door to let clients in and out, but it's okay. The till is not on. The hairstylists and barbers, beauty therapists going to people's houses, are they for real? There is over 30,000 of us out of work trying to prepare our salons to reopen, and it's costing us a lot of extra money, plus we have bills to still pay. These people are the reason we can't get back to work yet. We are all at home doing online courses, waiting with our hearts in our mouths for any bit of good news. This is our livelihood. It's not a joke. There are certain members of the media who we see are having their highlights and colour touched up, so their stylists are coming to them. You might think this is stupid, but I wonder what the listeners in Ireland think about this. I would like if you could discuss it and that my name not be mentioned, as I need to protect my business. And that's from a lady that we are calling Sandra, and we're going to talk to her in a moment. And I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. Maybe you're somebody who has availed of a service of a hairstylist or a beauty therapist or a nail technician on the sly, and you don't see a big deal with it. Or maybe you think this is outrageous that this sort of thing is going on. Whatever your opinion, call me right now on 6797 981. And what should happen to somebody who is found to be flouting the law? Because, as you know, beauty parlours and hairdressers and everything else have been closed down hopefully very temporarily, but the reason they've been closed down is because they're described as not an essential service. Call me right now on 6797 981 or text WhatsApp or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Sandra, we have disguised your voice for the purpose of this call because obviously, you, as you said in your message, you need to protect your business, which is fair enough. But welcome to 98 FM.
Good morning.
Now, tell me, Sandra, what made you decide to contact us?
Basically, I'm just getting so angry. There's so many of us that all have our businesses closed and we can't get into our business. Government are not giving us any guidelines, so we're all working together with the IHS, the Irish Hairdressing Council, and we're all trying to surmise what we need to do. And then you get clients ringing to see when you open, can you come? And most of them are fine when you say, look, we can't do social distance, it's our safety and yours. And then you get the clients that ring and say, well, I know if it's not on, that's letting people in, and you're like, how can you answer them? Like we're basically, we can't social distance. We can't be 6 foot away. None of us have arms that are 6 foot long to be away from clients. And then you have other hairstylists that are going to houses and think that they can go into a house that you're not even supposed to go to other people's houses to visit. And my thing is, we're all trying to go by the guidelines for when we open back up. The hairdressing beauty world is going to be a totally different world for us from what we're used to. And, you know...
But you believe that these hairstylists or beauty therapists or whatever who are doing these nixers are part of the reason that we're probably not going to be released from lockdown this weekend?
Yeah, because how do I know? If I was to go and do a mixer in somebody's house, they can tell me they're fine. But how do I know they have not been in contact with somebody? And I go from that house to the next house and bring whatever germs is on my clothes, on my kit, because they can't sterilise their belongings walking from one house to another house. Mm-hmm. So they're carrying all types of germs with them.
Oh, so so what you're saying is... the hairstylist could do Mary's hair down the road and then go to Jackie's house a mile away, and she can't sterilise any of her scissors or any of her hair gear between there and there.
No.
Oh, right, okay.
You can put a disinfectant spray, but for the likes of your scissors and that, they need to be in a solution for 10 minutes before they are actually sterilised.
Right, okay,
and
so...
if they're using the one gown, they're taking that gown off one person and putting it onto another person.
So, in terms of... We know this is going on, and we know... I don't know how widespread it is. One of the things you actually claim in your message is that there are certain members of the media, and we won't name anybody, but and we can see they're all having their highlights done and their colour touched up, so stylists are clearly coming to them.
Yeah, clearly.
Are you talking about people on the television, or...?
Yeah, like if you're watching the television, I'm in a group where there is a lot of us hairstylists and beauty, and we all talk. And when you're watching, because every hairdresser is sitting watching the news at 5:30 to see what's happening, because nobody's getting any updates at all. And you can see the different presenters that have their colours done. You can see when they have the highlights done.
Could they not be doing that themselves, though?
Not highlights, no.
Can you not do it out of a bottle?
No, not for a highlight you can't. And if you're going to do your own colour from a bottle that touch up your roots, you're not going to have a total even blend. You're going to have a balance. So we can see, looking, who's having theirs done and who's not having theirs done. And like, there is a few of them that have their roots, and we applaud them for their roots. But there's also others that have theirs done.
Let me ask you then, what would you like to see being done to somebody who is a beauty therapist or a hairstylist or whatever, who is deliberately flouting the rules and doing nixers in people's houses, or in some cases actually opening their salons and letting them in the back door?
I don't know. I do understand it's their livelihood, and we all have overheads to pay, and we all have bills, and we all have our rents that we're still being paid, and like there's nothing there for recovery for any of us have so far yet. I don't know. I do understand that people are on the breadline, but so is everybody. And if the people out there weren't asking to have these done, and if they stood their ground and wanted to keep themselves safe, it would be so much easier. I think the likes of salons that are taking people in on their back, I think they need to be fined of some sort. And if anyone is going to houses, I think they need to be fined. You could be fined for going out of your 2-kilometre radius, which they are doing when they're going on their nixers.
Okay, so we need to basically get serious about this, is what you're saying, that there needs to be some example made of somebody deliberately doing this, find them, and that'll send out the message that we can't be doing this until businesses are allowed to reopen.
That's it, or else our businesses are never going to open. And the longer people don't abide by the rules that are in place, the longer we're all going to be on lockdown, the more bills we're going to have, and the longer it's going to take us to get back into our businesses.
But stay there for 1 second. I want to just play a WhatsApp voice note that's just come into me right now. By the way, if you want to send one in, all you have to do is send it to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. This is from Sharon.
Hi, Adrian. My daughter does the lashes. She's been offered double money to do them at home. People have even offered to sneak in the back of the house. Ridiculous.
And like we said, I mean, eyelashes is hardly the most important thing you need to get done. Or maybe it is. I don't have extended eyelashes. But is this being customer driven, Sandra? Is this because, and we're talking predominantly women here, is it because they are putting pressure on, and you said you've been offered double money. It is customer driven, this whole demand, isn't it?
It is. And it's not only ladies, the amount of barbers that are out working. Like, I would say men are more vain than women. Like, there is men looking for their brows to be done.
And the funny thing is, and I did say at the start, if anybody has availed of barbers or hairdressers or whatever on the sly, to let us know. But it's we're in kind of an environment that nobody's going to admit to doing it. But I believe some are brazenly advertising on social media that you can get your beauty therapy done.
Yeah, but I think there was a nail technician exposed last week, and her whole thing was, well, I'm just going to their houses. I'm wearing a mask, and the client is wearing a mask, but you're still not supposed to be doing it. We're not going anywhere. So what difference does it make if you have no eyelashes, if you have roots, if you have long hair? You know, we're not going anywhere. We're all in lockdown. We're all going to be there after it. We all want to come out looking fabulous, but at the end of the day, we all just need to wait.
Okay, let me ask you another question then. When restrictions are eventually eased somewhat, which we obviously hope will be sooner rather than later, although it's looking like it won't be next Tuesday, how do you envisage your business reopening and observing social distancing guidelines? How is that possible?
Well, we're going to have to take out chairs. So we will have the 2 meters distance between clients. We will only be able to take a minimum of 1 client per stylist. We're going to have increased daily hours because you can't have overlapping of people sitting around waiting. Waiting areas are going to be gone. We're looking at doing temperature control before the client is allowed in. We're all looking at wearing PPE, which is like extremely expensive at the moment and really difficult to get. And we're going to have to sterilise each section and all our utensils after every client.
Okay, but you are preparing for that sort of thing, and you are conscious of what will be required of you in order for your business to get up and running again.
Oh yeah, like all of us are. And it's the likes of the salons that are letting people in their back doors. They're not going to be worried about that if they're not worried about it now. But yeah, when the lockdown is open, clients are going to be looking to see who's abiding by the guidelines. Where are they going to go?
Okay, so rather than being out doing nixers, basically, you're preparing for the day, hopefully within the next couple of weeks,
get back in, yeah.
that you can get back in, and you will be one of the businesses that is prepared for social distancing, keeping clients apart and all of that. What about the close physical distance between yourself and a client? How will that work?
It's going to be difficult. Like, we're going to have to wear masks. We're going to have to wear disposable gowns. We will be wearing gloves. But you can't cut hair with gloves on. I've tried on dolls' heads and I cut the gloves more than I cut the hair.
Right.
And we have like disposable gowns that will go under our gowns so that there is no contact and everything will have to be sterilised. So literally, when one client leaves, everything that client has had on them will go into a basket and will be sent
Okay, so
off.
you are preparing for that day, and obviously you're urging other people in the same business to, rather than be out doing nixers, start working on how you can get your business back up and running in a safe, socially distanced way.
Yeah. And like,
okay, sorry to cut across you, Sandra. I just want to bring in a call. I know she can't hang on too long. Stay there for 1 second. Claudia, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Claudia.
Hi, how's it going?
We were talking about the fact that this is predominantly customer driven, and I mean, I'm hearing reports of. I'm just looking at some of the messages coming in. Some barbers charging 50 quid for a dry haircut. This is being customer driven, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely has. But like I was saying to you on the phone a while ago, like, we've actually done house calls to my friend, and my friend has recommended me to go to other people's houses, like, and like, it was perfectly fine. Like, we've all wore like protective gear and everything. Well, personally, I couldn't wear gloves because I couldn't cut the hair, like, so that's the way it was. Like, but everybody was sanitizing and everything, like, so I didn't see the problem in it.
So have you only done it once?
No, I've done it 4 times now.
You've done it 4... So hang on. So you have done hair for 4 friends. Are they all friends?
No, not friends. No, one was a friend, and obviously she put me through to 4 people. Like,
now, you've heard what Sandra is saying, that this is... People doing stuff like this, like you, are adding to the ongoing lockdown that we have because you're not properly socially distancing and you're doing something that isn't an essential service. What do you say to that?
But I don't believe, like, it's as she says, like, because it is like social distancing as well, because we make sure there's no kids in the house, it's just a client, and we've made sure, like, COVID-19 rules being put in, like, that there's no one with symptoms or anything in the house. And if there was, like, we wouldn't go into the house. Do you get me, like?
So when you have gone to... So you started with your friend and then your friend recommended you to others. What are you doing? You're a hairstylist, are you?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
so are you doing colour or are you just cutting hair or what?
Yeah, well, we do whatever they ask kind of thing, like.
So with the 4 jobs that you've done, what have you done?
I've done colour in most of the women that they've asked me to do.
Okay, so you've done the colour. Again, this is because of customer demand. And you don't believe that you're putting yourself in any danger or putting your clients in any danger?
No, I don't. I actually don't believe this because, like, as I said, like, we've all hand sanitized, wore protective gear, so I don't see the problem in it.
Now, there you are, Sandra. She's gone to a number of clients. Says it's safe. Doesn't see what the problem is. Will you do more, Claudia?
Yeah, I would do more. If I knew it was safe, I'd do any repair for them, no problem. At the end of the day, like, I'm not getting paid as much as I get paid at the moment, you know? Like, I'm getting paid nearly 40, 50 euros a hair.
And as a matter of interest, are you getting the €350 COVID-19 payment?
No, I'm not.
How come?
Because they wouldn't give it under a statement because the way my job works. So they told me my job had to pay me. So I went ahead and done my own thing.
Okay, now, Sandra, there you go. Let me tell you something, Sandra. And this is kind of proof that this is customer-driven. Our switch right now is jammed with people looking for that girl Claudia's number. So,
oh my God.
What does that say to you?
Like, are these people, like, Claudia's saying she's sterilising it. While the colour is developing, I guarantee you she's sitting on a chair at a table talking to her customer. It is known that this infection can sit on surfaces. People don't show symptoms all the time. So you're sitting on that surface, you're having a cup of tea, your hand is on that table, your hand is on the mug, you're sitting on the chair. So if the bacteria is there, it's going to attach itself to your clothes.
And does none of that worry you, Claudia?
No, like, I didn't want to jump in, sorry, and disturb you there, Sandra. But all I can say is, like, when I'm going to a client's house, I bring my bottle of water. I won't accept any cup of tea from nobody. I do not sit at your table. I go and do the work as I tell every customer. This is what I have to do. So I will not sit at their table and talk for any long what I do their hair. I talk when I do their hair, understandable. But we are never like face-to-face talking because this is only a job. I'm not here to make friends. I don't know the people.
And are you wearing a face mask, and is the client wearing a face mask?
They are, yeah.
In all cases?
In all cases. Otherwise, I bring my own just in case they didn't have any on the day.
Okay, so you're doing this firstly because of demand, but secondly to earn a few bob.
Yes, I am.
Because you're not getting the payment.
No, I'm not receiving a payment, so I went ahead to make my own money because I've three young children at home that obviously can't be fed with the money that the Labour has given. No, like it's not understandable with the 203 a week with 3 kids. Well, I understand the extra money for the children, but it's not enough.
Okay, do me a favour, both of you, Sandra and Claudia. Stay on the line then for 1 second. And by the way, please stop ringing looking for that lady's number because we're not going to give it out to you. Okay? Besides anything else, for GDPR reasons, we can't give out her phone number, but we're not going to be giving out her phone number anyhow, so please stop ringing the switch. But that proves the point that this is customer driven. This is customer demand. Rachel, I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. You're annoyed about this.
I'm absolutely furious listening to that girl. Absolutely furious.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. I'll be with you straight after the ad break. If you want to get involved in this conversation, or maybe you're like Claudia and doing the exact same thing, be honest and admit it. We'll take a break. We're back in a second.
The sound of the city, from Donamead to Drimna. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
And we're here until midday today. Can I please ask you to stop ringing the radio station looking for Claudia's phone number? We are not going to be giving it out, so you're wasting your time. And we've had about between 30 and 40 phone calls in the last 7 or 8 minutes from people looking for the girl's phone number. Does that surprise you, Claudia, that many people are looking for your phone number?
Yes, I think it's just like to get in on the hopscotch kind of thing, like to give a bit of stick out to me for making money. Like, I say half of them that's trying to get my number do it themselves, you know? No, they're looking for your phone number so that you can come around to their gaff and do their hair. Oh, send them on to me.
But I'm not going to be giving it out. Sandra, this brings us back to the start of this conversation, that this whole thing of people like Claudia out doing hair is customer driven, not driven by the hairstylists themselves.
Yeah, it's customers. And I know how hard it is to say no, but to get us back into our salons, everybody needs to stand united and say no. Like, we all want to get back into our salons.
Claudia, why can't you just say, no, let's wait until the salons reopen?
It's not the fact that I can't say no. Like, it's just the fact that I know that they can get it off anybody else. So what? Like, there's people out there that's going to do it other than me anyways. So that's what I know. So there's no point in me saying no anyway.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. Let me let me have a listen to this. Oh, sorry, let me go to Rachel first. Sorry, Rachel, you've been holding on for a while there. Rachel, you were saying you're angry listening to this. And by the way, Claudia is by no stretch of the imagination the only person doing this.
No, and I totally understand that. But can I just ask her something, Claudia? Are you on your own with the 3 kids?
You there, Claudia? Oh, she's not answering. I don't know why.
No, because if she's on her own with the 3 kids, she's lying about the payment, because it was actually told that she can actually switch over to a loan parents book while this is going on. That's why she's not getting a 350 COVID payment and getting that full top up on top, not a full payment. So that's, to me, a blatant lie.
Okay, so but money aside,
I think she's absolutely selfish, and I think anyone doing it. I've been honest with you. I've watched for the last week. Since last week, with people talking about just the talk of restrictions being eased, it has been absolutely crazy. The amount of parties, the amount of people not. In my eyes, it's people not giving a damn, and I'm furious. And I tell you what, I have a son at home that I can't even talk about my parents around him because he gets so upset. Do you know that way? And it's like it's like people are. I don't want to be sticking to these rules. I don't want to have to be doing all this, but I'm doing it. Do you know that way? And it's like it's literally like. She's saying, oh, God, people, they're saying they're okay. They're saying they haven't got anyone in the house sick. Anyone could say that. Anyone. It doesn't say, like...
Okay, Claudia, can I ask you? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
If you happened to have COVID-19, okay? No, I hope you don't. Yeah. But if you happen to have it, and you may be asymptomatic, you may not have any symptoms at all... Isn't it a reality that you could be bringing that into people's houses?
Yes, of course, it is a reality. I understand that. But at the beginning of all this, it was like we were on 3 weeks lockdown and this and that, and it kept going on and on and on. And I genuinely do not get the COVID-19 payments, or whatever that girl is saying. I'm a liar. I do not understand her, because I'm not a liar. I don't get that payment. And the reason why I do this is because I'm making money for myself, and I'm also helping clients and making them happy. That's all that matters to me.
Sorry, Rachel, what you want to say?
Well, I never said you get the full COVID payment. I said if you're on your own with them 3 kids, I said you get some payments. You even said it yourself. You said the money you get from the labour isn't enough. So you get more than 203 for 3 kids. That's for starters. Okay, I don't get a lot of money. I have to, do you know what I mean? I'm literally paying out through my year, trying to keep my kids kind of occupied and trying to buy more sensory stuff than is usually needed. It's something that I struggle with too. But it's not worth it putting people at risk. And I think the fact that you know that you could be, there's just a slight chance that if you were asymptomatic or if you were carrying it or passing it, there's not a care in the world to you about it. You literally sound as if you don't care. And that's what's infuriating me. When you have these restrictions on Tuesday, truthfully, if the majority of people had just held on, no one wants to be in this situation. No one. Everyone is struggling. You're not the only one. Do you know what I mean? But people are sticking to it for a reason. I care. Of course I care. I tell you, it doesn't sound like you do.
But okay, Claudia, if you really cared, and I have to put this to you, okay? A couple of weeks ago when this lockdown was instituted, the government issued a list of essential services, okay? And we all know the sort of businesses that have remained open, like supermarkets and radio stations and so on. But hairdressers and beauty therapists were not on that list of essential services.
I understand that. But at the end of the day, in my eyes, essential would be a haircut as well, because people have told me when I've been to their houses that they feel depressed because they can't feel right in themselves. They have no confidence.
But as we said already, I mean, my hair is all over the shop. But I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not going anywhere. So I really couldn't give a rat's.
Yes, I understand, but some people are into themselves and get depressed about these things, and I understand that, and I'm willing to help these people. As long as they're not showing symptoms and I don't feel symptoms, I'm willing to go in there with protective care and my sanitizer and everything. I do not sit at the table. I do not interact.
It's excuses. What you're saying
But it's not excuses.
It is excuses.
It's not.
Because let me tell you one thing. Let me inform you that my roots are hanging down my head. I'd love to go get my roots done. I don't feel great when I look in the mirror looking at how I look with my hair, no nails, etc., etc. But I'll tell you one thing, it's still no excuse to go out and put others at risk.
Can I ask you, Rachel, and it's not an exaggeration for me to say that we have been bombarded with calls from women looking for this lady's number, which we're not giving out. But what does that say to you?
I tell you, they're just as bad. That's being honest. And I think what kick-started all this, if I'm honest, was the talk of easing the lockdown and restrictions, with the talk of easing it all. Because as soon as that talk started happening, the easing up, the way people have reacted to it is unbelievable. It's literally like there's no lockdown. No lockdown. I went up to get my son's prescription on Monday. And usually, since this has happened every week, going up and getting his prescription, I've been up to where I go and it takes me a 5-10 minute drive. It actually took me 25 minutes this week.
Well, actually, I even noticed this morning coming into work, I leave a little bit later than I would in normal circumstances, but today the traffic was so bad I was late for work, so...
Yeah. People are literally, since this talk of the easing of lockdown, it's the easing of restrictions, and I do think the government has handled it really well so far, but I think this kind of talk and all, I think they have to stop, and I think they have to step forward now and say, you know what, no, enough is enough, stop, it's not being eased. I think they have to stop waiting.
But they've more or less said that last night. They more or less said...
They have.
Yeah, they more or less said it last night. They're making a formal announcement tomorrow, but...
Yeah, but it needs to be...
Yeah, but I don't know what else they can do other than the guarded checkpoints that are everywhere and all of that. They are doing as much as I think they can do. People need to play ball as well.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Adrian. I'm not joking you. The amount of people... I can't even explain. When I go to the shop, I pass the entrance to Marley Park, okay? You'd want to see... I'm going to actually take a picture if I pass it today going to shop, okay? And I swear to God, wait and I show you the amount of... You will not believe it. You would not believe it. It's just the entrance and the road outside it. It's literally nearly every day. It's like there's a party going on outside. And I'd be literally gobsmacked. Do you know what I mean? My two kids, as you know, are special needs. They even tell me, they even have the cop on to actually tell me, God, Mammy, that's so dangerous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is a conversation we've had over and over again about street parties, and in fact, another video came our way last night of people in Ballymun out playing music on the streets, and the argument is we will never get out of this lockdown if people don't start playing ball here.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Yet no one, they don't get it. Like, no one wants to be in this situation. No one. I certainly don't. I want to be able to talk to my kids about my parents. I want to be able for them to see them. My son bawls and gets so upset every time he even hears their name. Do you know that way? And it's like, that's not what I want.
Okay, but
it has to be done.
And like I said, this lady Claudia is just one of the hairstylists and beauty therapists that is doing this. But the thing that concerns me even more is the amount of people that would love to use her service. Otherwise, if people weren't asking for it, she wouldn't be doing it.
And I agree on that.
In fact, listen to this WhatsApp voice note from Tam. Have a listen to this.
I was in my house the other day and I watched out the back window as a barber came into the neighbour's back garden. He done the chap's hair, 3 of his friends' hair, and his 2 kids' hair. He was there for about 2.5 hours. This was then followed by a double marquee party, including decks, DJ, and probably 25 people. One of my neighbours called the guards, and the guards told them there's nothing they can do as it's a private property and they can't do anything with the party. So that's what we're fucking living in.
I mean, that's what we're living with. Thanks, Rachel. Liz, I was saying about the amount of calls we're getting looking for that girl's number. Your point on this is you can't understand why people are doing this all for vanity, all because they have roots in their hair.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't understand why anybody is that desperate for a colour. And I understand it's customer driven, but I don't think that girl Claudia really helped herself by the things she was saying, because I don't believe that she's not getting any kind of payment. The government are handing out money hand over fist to, like, everyone's getting some kind of payment, and everyone's suffering in some way or another. But I don't understand, like, if she's that desperate to make money, bring the people into your house, all the random people into your house, instead of going around God knows how many houses doing it. I don't understand it at all. I don't think anybody is that desperate for a freaking colour.
Well, clearly they are. This is the point, Liz.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how anyone's that desperate for a colour. Like, I don't get that mentality at all. Like,
yeah, but for people who are used to having their hair in a certain way, and suddenly there's grey coming through, or the roots are coming through, or whatever.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'd love to get my hair done myself, but I'm not going to ask the person I'd usually go to come to my house and do it for me. As you said yourself, who's seeing anyone? No, nobody's seeing people. Like, I just get over yourselves. You know what I mean?
All right, Liz, thanks very much indeed. Sandra, I'm going to take your... Oh, sorry, Sandra's on the line there as well. We'll take another couple of calls on this. We're being flooded with calls from people telling similar stories. And if you are another Claudia, give me a call on 6797981. Here's a WhatsApp voice note from Jay.
Oh, Adrian, that lady makes a really good point about if they don't care about the regulations now, about people's health and safety now, they won't care when they open. And I think a lot of people won't want to go to those people who have been breaking the rules and sneaking in and seeing clients on when the lockdown is here.
And then another one from Aaron.
Adrian, I witnessed 5 people exit the back door of a closed gym yesterday and get into 2 cars, 3 in one and 2 in the other, and drive away. And they were all carrying water bottles and in their gym gear.
So it's not just hairstylists doing it. We'll take a quick break. Susie, I'll be with you straight after the break. I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98.
The sound of the city, from Perrystown to Portmarnock. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
And every day on this programme, we deal with the issues that Dublin people want to talk about. And one was raised by Sandra today. She is annoyed at the amount of beauty therapists, hair therapists? No, hair cutters. Hairdressers, hairstylists, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Hairstylists who are out doing nixers. And she believes that part of the problem that is going to lead to us remaining in this lockdown for another couple of weeks, and that's what's looking likely, I have to tell you, is people just carrying on like this. And just... Sandra, are you shocked by the way this conversation has gone?
Yeah, I really am. But I knew it was happening. You know, and like that girl, Claudia, I know she's trying to make money to pay for her children and stuff. But what happens if she gets sick? What's she going to do? She's going to pass it to her children, put her own life in danger. Like, that's what she's not taking into consideration.
Yeah, well, you, like I said, you raised a very important issue, and maybe it'll plant a seed of thought into some people's heads, not to be trying to get a hairstylist to call around to your house. But the fact of the matter is, as we said earlier on, this is customer driven. This is demand that is leading to a lot of hairstylists giving in and deciding to go and do it. Sandra, thanks for talking to us, and the very best looking kind of trying to get your business back open again in the coming weeks.
Thank you very much.
All right, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let me squeeze in another couple of, some more WhatsApp voice notes. This is from Paul, who's angry at some of you.
Your switch is jammed looking for that girl Claudia's number. Are all these people stupid? There's people dying, there's people in hospital on ventilators, and above all, there's people putting their lives at risk trying to save lives. Simon Harris and Tony Houlihan know an awful lot more about social distancing than these people. For God's sake, will you stay at home, or we could be in lockdown for months.
And he's dead right. Aideen sent us this.
That woman is really annoying. I haven't seen my family members in ages, and she's just willy-nilly going down to do somebody's hair. How vain are people? Also, I'd love to know what she's spending €200 on a week. You've nowhere to go. You can't go to the shops. So all you should be buying is a food shop. But like €200 a week is a lot on food and bills. Like, come on now.
Okay, Michelle, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you, Michelle. You're a salon owner as well.
Yes, myself and a few girls in Finglas Village have a salon called Glamour Lane. And like, I've been bombarded with phone calls, text messages, and so have the other girls about doing extras. And it's like we've been speaking to each other every day on the phone. We just think it's an absolute disgrace. Number one, we understand clients are so used to getting their hairs done, but everybody's so used to doing different things, like going out and about, going to see their family, going for walks along the beach or whatever. And all those things have changed. And the likes of getting your hair done, you can't be going to different people's houses, even though she might think she's washing her hands or whatever, an extra few bobs. It's just an absolute disgrace. If you feel like you want to help your clients, do tutorials. I done a live video on our page there last week helping clients regarding what to do with their home care and stuff like that. And what she's just sounds so immature on the phone. I have kids to look after, to feed, pay bills. So do we all. So does the whole of the country. And people.
But as I was saying, Michelle, this whole thing is being driven by clients. And you've just admitted that yourself, that you're being bombarded with calls from people saying, "Oh, please, 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 go on, please."
Yeah, my response to these clients if I'm talking to them on the phone is, "I'm so sorry. We'll see what comes out, Leo, the next time with lockdown and stuff like that." And it's kind of, I've also said to clients, we're not going anywhere. There's nowhere to go for us to have this amazing hair and our eyelashes or our nails done. It's basically, we have to, I've said it to the clients as well. It's ridiculous. Like, I just think, hopefully when we get out of this, the salons are going to be so busy. People will be able to get their things done. Do you know what I mean? But I just can't understand even clients wanting to get their hair done.
And the fact that, like I said, not to be repeating myself, but we have been flooded with calls from people saying, "Give us our number. Go on, give me your number. Give me your number."
But these people just need to cop on and grow up. Like, do they want to get back to normal? Do they let's just try and not get our hairs, not do what the government has asked us to do so we can get back to normal. Like, I'm on my 7 week lockdown in the house. I haven't left the house. Can't wait to get back to normal. But people like her are not going to have this country back to normal.
Let me ask you, Michelle, in terms of your business, and I'm actually looking at your Facebook page now, what sorts of plans are you putting in place to enable you to reopen and with social distancing guidelines?
Basically, myself and the girls that I work with that run the salon, we have been brainstorming, disposable towels, disposable gowns, just constant sanitising of the hairbrushes, things like that. We're just kind of brainstorming at the minute. And obviously, there's these new kind of face mask things that stylists can wear doing their hair. Also, our beautician Melissa has ordered a face screen for her to be able to do her clients' nails. Like, we're taking this time now to make our salon better. So when we
very good, and that was what Sandra said earlier on as well. Rather than out doing nixers, she's actually concentrating on how she can safely reopen her business in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because we've it's just to keep the business going. Like, you're going around doing extras and stuff like that. Like, number one, eventually she's going to be reported. Number two, this is exactly how this is getting passed around. And I just think we're with 3 kids and leaving our kids at home to go out and earn a couple of quid to spend on what? Because we're going nowhere to spend money.
No, absolutely. All right. The very best of luck, Michelle. Over the couple of my own missus just texted me there. She'll be down to you as soon as you open your door. she's She's pulling her hair out as well.
Maybe do some tutorials or do some live videos or something to help your clients.
Actually, do you know, Michelle, this is just a by-the-way question. I desperately need a haircut, and I'm trying to persuade my missus to do it for me.
Okay.
Is there any tutorials for cutting men's hair?
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you YouTube, you might see one. I actually only cut my husband's hair the other day.
And?
He normally goes to barbers, and I did it the other day. And, you know, loads of people, even like neighbours, like if we're in the garden with the kids, you're seeing people with like shaved heads.
Yeah,
that's what people are doing.
I know, I'm not that bad. I'm not going to let her shave my head, but I wouldn't mind an old haircut. But anyway, okay, Michelle, thanks very much indeed, and best of luck to you. And one last call, Susie. You can't understand why anyone wants to get their hair done.
Well, what does this say? I'm dying to get my hair done now. I'm dying to get it done. But I'm thinking to myself, well, if I get it done now, I'm just going to be wasting my money because I'm not going out anywhere.
Because you're not going anywhere, yeah.
So I'm just like, I literally wake up in the morning, have a shower or whatever, then I don't even GHD my hair. I can't be bothered because you're not going anywhere. So what's the point? And I think as well,
I'm just not, for me now, I'm just not able for how long my hair is after getting it's.
Yeah. But the other thing as well, if I was like that girl, if I was to go to, or somebody was to come to my house to do my hair, I would have that on the back of my mind. What if their last client, what if they...
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you'd prefer to look as rough as a badger rather than take that risk?
Exactly.
All right, good to talk to you, Susie. Let me squeeze in another couple of messages, WhatsApp voice notes. This is from Nancy.
Hi, Adrian. I think it's ridiculous what that girl Claudia is doing. I'm not a hairdresser, but I'm a beautician. I've been offered to do, I'd say, about 10 nixers, and I've said no to them, obviously, because we're on lockdown, and the rule is we're not meant to be in a house that isn't ours, and they're not meant to be in my house, so... this is just what's extending the lockdown, is people just not listening because they just don't care.
All right. This is from Sarah, who sent this one to us.
A hairdresser, what I do is I stay in touch with my clients. I mix up their colour. I leave it on the doorstep. They bring it home. They apply the colour. I've told them a couple of YouTube videos to watch, which makes it quite easy. I mean, it's all about looking after your clients and making sure that they look after you when it's all over. You know, there's no need to go to people's houses.
Now, that's something we only spoke about on the show 2 weeks ago, about mixing up colours and how dangerous that can be. Now, we're just one or two more. This is from Brian.
Hi, Adrian. Brian here. Another illustration here. We are fighting two pandemics, unfortunately. COVID-19 and stupidity. And there's no allowing for stupidity, unfortunately, and it's clear all over the place, and idiots.
Belinda sent this WhatsApp voice note.
All these women looking for a phone number off a hairdresser to get their hair done, where are they going? Oh wait, are they looking to get their hair done for when they're laid out in their coffin after taking their last breath, gasping for it in an intensive care unit?
Okay, yeah, that's the reality of this. Aaron is a plumber who's been asked to do nixers.
Just in regards to that girl Claudia there, it sounds like an absolute airhead. I'm out of work 5 weeks now. It's probably going to be another 2 weeks that I'm going to be out of work. I'm a plumber. I'm getting texts and calls all the time to do nixers. I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing all that stuff home to my house. My fiancée has roots down to her knees at this stage, but sure, she doesn't care. She's happy. She's healthy. I mean, we're trying to scrape money together every week to do the shopping, and she's gone out to do people's hair. I don't know. She's very selfish, and God forbid anything happens to our kids if she brings it home.
All right. And sorry, plumbers, I would argue, in an emergency situation are an essential service if you've a burst pipe or whatever. And one last WhatsApp voice note. This is a lady who is a student nurse.
Hi, Adrian. I'm a student nurse from North Dublin, and I'm sitting here having my breakfast with my little sister who's 11, listening to the radio, and she is just shocked, like more so than me. She can't believe that people are being so selfish, like when so many of us haven't seen our loved ones in weeks and all. So I think if I don't know, a child of that age can see just how irresponsible that kind of behaviour is, then I don't know why adults can't see it too, you know.
All right, thank you very much indeed. And unbelievable reaction to that. And here's another conversation I want to have about people's behaviour, and this focuses on a message that we got about the behaviour of shoppers in supermarkets and stores and how bad it's become. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Emma with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. COVID-19 needs to be allowed to circulate in the community, according to a professor of general practice. Tomorrow, the government is expected to announce whether any restrictions can be lifted next Tuesday. The Finance Minister has confirmed there's no plans to cut the pay of politicians during the COVID crisis. Calls were made after the Prime Minister of New Zealand and her cabinet took a 20% pay cut. An area of Bluebell was searched by Gardaí last night after reports of gunfire. It was the second night in a row shots were allegedly let off. And the Revenue Commissioners is urging its staff working remotely not to discuss work-related matters near a smart speaker. It's issued guidance to staff on a range of matters, including using Skype and Zoom, as well as various data protection guidelines. Revenue says it's based on OECD guidelines, which has flagged smart speakers and visual assistants as a potential data protection risk. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM. Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. We're with you until midday today. Now, I want to change direction a little bit, and this is another issue that has been rearing its ugly head over the last couple of days. Have you noticed a change in people's behaviour over the last few weeks when they're in shops and supermarkets? They've become more rude, more aggressive, not bothering to observe social distancing. Well, we were contacted by a woman who works for a well-known supermarket, and she says that she has witnessed many examples of customers being rude and not observing social distancing. I want you to have a listen to her message. She actually sent this in at the very end of yesterday's programme, so it was too late to play yesterday. Have a listen to this lady's message, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. Oh, hang on. If I press the right button, you might actually get to hear it. Here it is.
I was wondering if you could do a piece on shoppers and their behaviour during COVID-19. I work for a multinational retail store, and I have to stay anonymous due to our company policies. But I just wanted to highlight that the customers that come into our store, they don't social distance. They're extremely rude to the staff. They touch the staff. They walk and stand on the staff when they're trying to pack shelves. There's absolutely no respect for the staff and the sacrifices that we are all making. Some days they take their whole family into the shop in what resembles a day out to the zoo. The same with couples. We're just asking that people come in by themselves and shop for essentials.
Okay, now this is a common problem that many supermarkets are experiencing. In fact, one down the country the other day took to social media to berate customers for the way in which they are behaving in their stores. Being rude, being aggressive, not socially distancing, and just making the life of people who, by the way, you know, your local convenience store or your local supermarket is an essential service at this time. And these are people who are going to work every day, are putting themselves in, I suppose you could say, harm's way, all for you to be obnoxious to them. I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797 981. If you're in the retail business, have you noticed customers becoming ruder, not observing social distancing? And to the credit of all of our supermarkets and convenience stores, they are extremely well laid out. They have signs on the floor of where, you know, how far apart you need to be from each other. They've really done a super job, but they can't make people behave themselves, if you know what I mean. Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Have you noticed a change in people being ruder and more aggressive over the last couple of weeks? Chelsea, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
Chelsea, your friend works in retail and is getting dogs abuse.
Yes, I actually work in retail myself, and we work in one of the top supermarkets in Ireland, and I feel before this pandemic started, people have gotten a lot worse. Their attitude towards us is absolutely disgraceful. Because
like what? Give me an example of what some people might have said to you.
So, say, for example, we have a new system of when you enter the store, you must sanitise your hands, take precautions. They're like...
Are you there, Chelsea? Oh. Sorry, lads, we just lost that line. It just died. A horrible death. We'll try and get her back in a second. I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. And they're already starting to come in. This lady works for a supermarket chain.
I work in Tesco, and I really don't agree with people coming in and being rude to us. Like, we're all trying to be there. We're all feeling worried. We're all feeling unsafe. Like, and we're just trying our best to stay and serve people the best we can while trying to keep safe. It's no power trip when we say certain things to people. Like, we're just trying to stay safe, and that is all.
Okay, thanks very much indeed, Karen. And so basically her point is that just because a staff member in a supermarket might tell you to, can you please just stand back there, please? They're doing it because that's what we have to do. It happened to me last week, the week before, in a supermarket, and I accidentally was walking towards the conveyor belt and started to put my stuff up, but the other customer wasn't finished, and the lady behind the till said to me, if you wouldn't mind just waiting a second until I'm finished with this lady, and I did, and that was the end of that. Other people get really aggressive when they say something like that to them. 6797981 is our telephone number. This is from Joyce.
The only place I have come across rude customers is in Tesco's. I was in there last week getting a few bits, turned around in the aisle to walk down to the checkout, and a man said to me, would you ever make up your effing mind? I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, looked at him and walked past.
Okay, right. Fiona, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Fiona.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
This is Adrian, but that's okay. Adrian. Somebody said, actually, the other day, just as a complete by the way, how do people get that wrong so often? And I don't understand it. But anyway, maybe it's a nicer name. Is it a nicer name?
I just spoke with Jeremy.
Yeah, you see, that's what it is. Yeah, I know. Anyway, sorry, Fiona. Go on. What did you want to say?
Sorry, I was just saying that I have been shopping an awful lot in Duns, in Ashley, in Crumlin, in Ashley Shopping Centre, and I have to say I have found the staff absolutely outstanding. They have to deal with some horrible customers, which is definitely not their fault and not part of their job at this horrible time for anyone. And I have to say, from the beginning, they've been very organised. More so than anything, because there is another Super Value, they weren't as organised and found people were on top of each other more there. And the only thing I did find is people kind of skipping the queue at times, where if you've been queuing for an hour, like they weren't HSE, not care workers, not the elderly, not in any category, that they could just go ahead.
And just go right ahead of everybody else queuing up outside the supermarket.
Well, there was one, it was now an elderly lady came up, which I thought I'm surprised she was out because she's definitely over 70. She had her daughter who was probably in her 40s, and then there was a teenage grandson. So three of them marched up to the top of the queue. They let the mother in and the grandmother in, the grandchild in because he's the helper, and then let the daughter in. So that's three people we had to wait to come out for them to come in, and while we're still standing there queuing.
Right, so, is it because of frustration that people seem to be getting ruder and more aggressive? Is it because we're all fed up, or what is it?
I would say it's a huge contributor to it. Like, it has to be. Like, people are looking at the trip to the supermarket as a day out.
Yeah, no, and they are. They absolutely are, because it's one of the things that we're allowed to, although I did see yesterday a report from the Garda Commissioner, and this is something that happens in other countries, where they've said they may have to start checking people shopping to make sure that you actually are going shopping.
I believe they're doing it in town. People have been stopped.
A couple of people have, yeah. Because, I mean, if you're going through a Garda checkpoint, all you say is, I'm going shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's not much they can do because we've been told we can go shopping. But as you said, people are using the whole shopping thing as an excuse to go out.
Yeah, now, and I know people are very anxious in the shopping centres. Like I did hear the other caller, somebody told her to move on. Or was it yourself? Sorry. Like it is very hard to stand there and decide if you want to pick something that people are trying to get by or stand
I know,
there.
it is awkward, I have to say.
Sky high.
Yeah, and I find it awkward, and I'm finding myself standing back from people, but then you find other people not standing back from you, which feels like they're invading your space, and it does add to the tension in the air.
And now I do my shopping for my mum because she's cocooning, and an awful lot of people are doing that. And you know, you 2 different lists and 2 different things going on in your head. People are getting confused and they're trying to double back, and you're getting filthy looks.
I know, I've gotten them, and I've given them as well. Actually, I have to be honest. Stay there for a second, Fiona. B, you work in retail yourself?
Yeah, I do.
And have gone home crying some days?
No, I have. I now suffer really badly with anxiety as well.
So
it's
what?
Horrible.
How have you found?
People are cursing at us if we ask them to stand behind the green line. They're just really, really horrible. And they're still coming in with like mummy, daddy, and their 3 kids.
Yeah, I mean, and at this stage, it's gone ridiculous. In fact, if you've got the whole family in the car going shopping, the guards should turn you back.
They don't, though.
No, I know.
They're not allowed to stop them.
I know, they're not. So tell me about the worst thing that's happened to you.
People have called us names if they're asked to stand behind the green line. We're told, like, for example, that we can't tell them what to do. They'll do what they want. If people want to tap in our store, you can't tap over 30. They make us split their bill like for €180, so you have to take everything off and start again, and they'll tap for every €30.
Really? Right,
yeah.
Okay. As opposed to sticking their card in the machine?
Yeah.
They
don't bring their card.
Oh, they're using their phone or whatever,
yeah.
Right, so they're
then if they act like it's our fault, even though like we have nothing to do with the company policy.
No, I know that, and I know the company you're talking about, and the company really needs to get with the programme, I have to be honest. All the other supermarkets are doing it, where you can do...
I get that, but it's not up to me.
No, I understand that. No, I get that. I
But I literally just work there.
Yeah, okay, so people are just being obnoxious.
Really horrible, or they try to skip the queue, like the other lady said, and they'll try to walk past the checkout, and then you have to say, no, you can't, you have to go queue up, and then they'll start cursing at us again.
So I gave an example of something I did the other day in, it's Dunn Stores near the studios here, and I... inadvertently, by mistake, I started putting my stuff up on the conveyor belt when the other customer in front wasn't finished, and the girl said, sorry sir, can you stand back until I'm finished with this customer? And I said, oh, sorry about that, and I stood back, and that was the end of that. But you're saying if you do that to some customers, they tell you to F off, I'll do what I effing want, you won't effing tell me what I'm going to do.
Yeah, they get really aggressive.
That sounds unbearable.
No, it is horrible, and it's like... It's fair enough, like at the beginning it only happened once or twice, but now you can say it happens once or twice an hour.
Once or twice an hour?
At least.
That you have to deal with an obnoxious customer?
Yeah, at least. And then, like, I sometimes work on the customer service desk as well, and people are bringing back their stuff and they're not being nice about it. If you try to explain, look, we can't do this at this time, and it's just really small things that they're really getting aggressive over. And it's not like...
And this is all because... Yes, this is all because you're doing what you have to do to maintain social distancing in your store and asking people to respect that. And when you ask them to respect it, they give you dog's abuse.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's, like I said, it happens all the time. I mean, our supervisor stopped somebody buying 50 bags of rice for his dog, and he went to hit her. It's like...
He went to hit her?
Yeah. Like, you have to be thrown out of the shop, and it's like, sometimes you'd go, oh my God, customers are crazy, but this is like nearly a daily occurrence now.
And compare that to, I don't know, however long ago when things were normal, say back in February, a massive difference in terms of people's attitude and behaviour.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we've always, like, because we're just cashiers in some people's eyes, we've always obviously been treated a little bit different, but I thought with this it'd be a little bit nicer, but no. maybe the first week or two, but it has actually gotten really, really bad now.
God, it sounds like you dread going to work now.
Oh, I do. I very much do. And I mean, there's couples coming in, holding hands, kissing in the aisles. There's people standing in the aisles, 5, 6 people at a time, talking and chatting away, not a bother for like an hour at a time. There's people strolling around for 2, 3 hours, just taking their time. Like, nobody's taking it serious anymore.
Really? Is that's how you feel about this whole thing? That people...
Oh, I do. They're not taking it.
As that lady's message said a couple of minutes ago, a trip to the supermarket now is like a day out at the zoo.
It actually is. It is. And I mean, some people will actually let the kids go off into the toy section. They'll do their shopping and pick them up at the end.
Oh, just leave them randomly walking around?
Yep.
God, that sounds very frustrating.
It is very frustrating, especially because my children, I have 3 children, and they have not left the house except maybe to go down to the beach for 10 minutes at a time.
And you're there
very, very frustrating.
Providing an essential service, and you're getting abused for doing it.
Yeah. And the same as my husband, because he works there as well, and he does in the morning like the picking for people, and if he's trying to go around with the trolley to do the home shopping, like, people just won't move for him, or they'll reach over him, or like they'll literally just touch the actual buggy or trolley and move it away from him and stuff like that. Like, people are just not taking it serious.
So what do you say? What do you want to say to? I mean, we're looking at a weekend where we thought a couple of weeks back that by tomorrow the government will be announcing a relaxation of the restrictions on us, and now that looks very unlikely.
I don't think it matters what the government do. Everybody's just fed up, and there's only so much you can tell people not to do. I think people are just not going to take it serious anymore. They're just not.
And the government just have to accept that, do they?
No, I think they should start enforcing it a little bit more instead of just sitting up where they're sitting going, you have to do this, you have to
So how could your job be made easier? What would you like to see being done? Obviously, appeal to people to be nice, for God's sake. It doesn't seem like it's an awful lot to ask.
Yeah, no, I don't think that anyone can do. I mean, it's up to the individual person to use the brain and just be and act nice.
All right, I'm really sorry to hear that going to work has become such a chore because of people.
No, it is really horrible.
Yeah, that's dreadful. I mean, that is dreadful.
Every day I'm going in wondering what will happen today, and I mean, we are being cursed out. It's not just, you're being rude or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody texted in just a second ago, there'll be no let-up of restrictions on the 5th of May as this nation is full of idiots. And sadly, that person may be right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I don't think, even though
I'm sorry, I'm losing you there, B.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, yep.
I said even if the restrictions aren't...
Oh, sorry, we've lost you there. Ken wants to pay a compliment to his local Dunnes Stores staff.
Hey, Adrian, just got to say, on the flip side of people complaining about supermarkets, hats off to the staff in Dunnes in Crumlin. Absolutely fantastic. Crumlin Shopping Centre, that is. Really organising stuff brilliantly. Fair play to them all.
All right, that's good to hear, Ken. Thanks very much indeed. And Connor wants to address my point about families and cars going shopping.
How are we doing, Adrian? Just as a by-the-by regarding families being in a car going shopping, my wife doesn't actually drive, so, and obviously we can't get somebody to mind the kids, so we actually do travel to the shop, and she'll go in and do the shopping, and I'll wait in the car with the kids. So that's just a point on that one. So, like, you know, just turning back people for having their whole family in the car, you know. All right, thanks.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase what I was saying then, Connor. People should be turned away from going into the supermarket with a whole posse in tow, because it's just making the queuing ridiculous for everybody. Stacey sent me this message, was talking to a girl who works in her local Dunnes Stores.
I was in Dunnes in the Ashleaf doing my shopping the other day, I think it was Sunday, and the girl was telling me, I was talking to one of the staff members, and she was saying that the amount of abuse that they're getting, and she was really upset, and she was nearly crying actually, telling me, she was saying that the guards all had to be called like 2 or 3 times for customers because they're so rude and coughing at them, and like, I was just like, my God, like, they're there saving us so that we can eat and keep our families fed, and they're getting nothing but abuse. and they're terrified themselves, you know, going in every day. This girl was in an awful state on Sunday, God love her.
And you just heard B there a couple of minutes ago in an awful state about having to go and work in a supermarket that she works in, but only because people are being just so obnoxious. Sorry, Rachel, I'll talk to you straight after the break. You're sick of getting dirty looks for having your child with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I live in Westmead, and I tell you, it's the same down here, the abuse the staff are getting. But, I mean, I have 4 children, and I'm on my own with 4 children.
Okay, well, stay there for 1 second, and I'll find out how you cope with that and doing the shopping and everything else after the break. Don't go away, Rachel.
The sound of the city, from Saggart to Sutton. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
We're talking about how we as a nation have become rude, obnoxious, horrible to staff in supermarkets and convenience stores. Not all of us, obviously, but an awful lot, to the point that lady we were speaking to a couple of minutes ago is now dreading going to work because of the abuse that they're getting. John says he witnessed madness in a shop in the city centre just this morning.
Hi Adrian, I was in a shop in Parnell Street this morning. When I got inside, it was like a free-for-all, grab-all. People just pushing people out of the way to get solar lights, plant boxes, plants, you name it. It was disgraceful, it was. People just pushing each other.
Yeah, where am I going now? Rachel, so you said you have 4 children.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
And do you have to bring all 4 when you're going shopping?
No, God, no. Now, me eldest fella is 15.
Right.
And then I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And because I live in a village, kind of, and there's no supermarket in it, I'm about a 20-minute drive from the supermarket because I live in Westmead. So I'll take the little one with me. She's 3. I wouldn't leave her at home with the others. Do you know what I mean? But even at that, like, people are looking at you because you have a child with you. I don't have any choice but to bring her with me. But yeah, I have.
Okay, so you're walking around the supermarket with the little one sitting in the trolley, and you're getting filthy looks from everyone.
Like, you know, she's like any 3-year-old. Like, she's mommy, can have this, can have that, and you know, people are looking at me like, why is she here? Do you know what I mean? And I mean, I've had a couple of people even tutting, like, going past me, shaking their head, like, do you know what I mean? Like, first of all, people don't know what other people's situations are. You shouldn't be so quick to judge. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a family to feed as well, and I'm nervous going to the supermarket. I'd rather not bring her. You know, where there's a load of other people, but I really have no choice.
Yeah, you have to get the shopping done, yeah.
Absolutely, you know. And I have seen what you're talking about as well with the staff. It has definitely... I mean, I know people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm stuck at home with 4 kids.
No, we all are. Every single one of us is, yeah.
But, I mean, them staff... I mean, I wouldn't like to be going in and doing that job every day, taking that risk. Do you know what I mean? I go and do my shopping, and I'm glad to get home and have it done for the week. Like, people abusing them, that they should be barred. I think it should be like 0 tolerance. They should be just told, don't come back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it'd be like a pub. If you misbehave in a pub, you're barred. It should be the exact same with the supermarkets.
Absolutely. I mean, if people are not going to behave, which is ridiculous, like, you're going to have to treat them like a child. Do you know what I mean? And just tell them, don't come back here. Absolutely ridiculous, those people. I mean, they're working long hours. They're dealing with so many people. I'd hate to be doing that.
Yeah, I would myself. And I feel terribly sorry for that girl who was on a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
And because the supermarket staff are providing an essential service. If they weren't there, we'd all be starving. So,
well, what would we do?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? What would you do? I mean, even if they staggered shopping times and staggered staff and everything else, and say they'd only one supermarket open to cover a whole area, you'd never get by. I mean, it is an absolutely essential service. Do you know what I mean? And if it isn't on, I think they should be barred.
All right, thanks very much indeed. A couple of your text messages. FYI says this message. You can pay up to €500 using your phone. I've paid for shopping at least 300 and tapped with your phone. I'm with AIB, I'm not sure about other banks. If you're using Apple Pay or one of them, yes, you can use it for more than €30, for more than €50 in most places, except Tesco. Even before this whole pandemic, you could not tap for more than €30 with your phone in Tesco. In most other places you can, but for some there's something with Tesco's system that won't take a phone payment over €30. And that's still the case, by the way. But most other places, yes, you can pay with your phone, which is all I use now. I use my phone all the time to pay for stuff. And you can tap for any amount with your phone except in Tesco. And then another message says, I'm furious listening to that poor girl who's risking her health to keep us fed. People should be barred from shops for behaving like that. We're weeks into this pandemic now, and if you're not standing back from people at this stage, you are an absolute moron. People have to pay attention 100% of the time when they are outside their homes. There's no excuse for getting too close to someone anymore, says that message. And where am I going now? I'm going to Billy. You're on 98 FM, Billy. How are you?
How are you?
Good, thanks, Billy. You were in Omni and you heard about...
I was in Omni Shopping Centre.
Yeah.
Up in our town there, and I was queuing at deals.
Yep.
And on the right at the window there was a keep your distance sign, and underneath it was, try be kind to the customers and the staff. I said to the girl who was allowing people in, there's no need for that. And she says there is. Some people are very rude. They blame me for what's happening. I'm only doing my job. You could hear the emotion in her voice.
And again, like that young woman a few minutes ago, B, you could hear the emotion in her voice as well.
I was so upsetting, so I just called in next, and I went, done a few bits and came out. I got her a box of Quality Street and a card saying thank you.
Ah, that was very
You
decent.
should have seen her face.
Isn't that fantastic? Well done,
The
Billy.
light on her face, that actually someone thought of her.
That is very decent of you.
A little bit of concern.
In fact, you're leading me really well into something I want to do in a second, okay? If you go to a particular supermarket or a convenience store and you have found the staff particularly good, we want you to send a WhatsApp voice note and we'll give them a shout out. Okay, I'll explain all about it in a second, but you lead me very well into that, Billy. Let me play this WhatsApp voice note from Linda.
Hi, Adrian. Just listening to you there on the radio about the people being rude. Yes, I've noticed it as well, but I think it's an absolute disgrace the way the shop workers are getting picked on and being customers being aggressive towards them. After all, these are frontline staff as well. It's not just the nurses and doctors. You know, it's the lads and lassies that are stacking shelves and all. No, it's a disgrace. And, you know, the coronavirus doesn't mean that people have to be rude. You just have to be careful. Bye.
Thank you, Linda. Finally, I want to wrap this up with Maria. Maria, welcome to 98 FM.
Thank you.
Now, you're a senior citizen.
I'm disabled as well.
And disabled as well, okay.
And I'm very naughty. I shouldn't be going out doing my shopping, but I do, because I'm like that.
Okay. So, you should be at home, you should be cocooning, but to hell with
and
that...
I shouldn't be paying women with your tax, so I'm trying to stop them putting up the tax on your wages. So I try to be as independent as possible.
Okay, well, fair play to you, Maria. So, what is the experience for you like going shopping?
Fantastic. I only do it once a week to be good. And I go to the Ashleaf in Crumlin Shopping Centre.
Yeah, no, well.
And I've even got in the queues, and the security man come over here, you're not to be queuing up, and they get in there and do your shopping. So I go in and do my shopping. Well, from the supervisors to the girls on the tills, I have never seen or had such nice people They're so helpful. They even help me to pack me shop and put it on my little trolley.
Isn't that really
and it's
nice?
a lovely experience. They're really, really nice. And they're smiling, and it's never overcrowded. So it's a lovely experience to go to the Ashleaf. And I think some of the supermarkets in Ireland should go and watch how it's done, because it's a lovely place.
That is really nice to hear. So this is Ashleaf Shopping Centre in Crumlin. And you can't praise them enough.
I can't. Oh, that's from the staff, right from the top, right down to the little kids doing the shelves. They're smiling and hello and how are you? Can we help you? Everything. They're lovely.
That is lovely to hear, Maria. So well done.
It's a big shop. It's not just a little corner sort of, supermarket. It's a big one.
All right. Well,
whoever's sort of looking after it, they're doing their job very, very well.
And again,
one granny very happy.
Well, that's lovely to hear, Maria, and well done to all of the staff in Ashleaf for putting a smile on Maria's face. And Maria, I know you're being very naughty and tut and all that, but how are you coping otherwise? Are you at home the rest of the time?
I'm still alive, yes.
You're still. I can hear that. All right. All right. Well done, Maria, and keep smiling.
Last time I saw you were in the window in Cleary's a long time ago.
Oh, that was a long time ago when we lived in the window of Cleary's. That was.
Yeah. Oh, you were gorgeous then. You're still gorgeous.
Oh, jeez, you haven't seen me lately, Maria. Now.
I haven't. That's true. But your wife is looking after you well, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, Maria. Lovely to talk to you. Thanks very much. And that lovely lady. Okay, she leads me beautifully into giving a... okay, we've heard about all the rudeness. We've heard about how obnoxious some of the customers are to staff. And these are frontline services. You don't have to be a doctor or a nurse or work in a hospital to be providing a frontline service. The people working in our supermarkets are providing a frontline service as well. They're feeding us. So, with that in mind, I want to give you the opportunity to give a shout out to any particular supermarket or convenience store that you use where you think the staff are going above and beyond. If you know the names of the staff, mention them. If you, obviously you know the name of the store, and let's give them a little thank you. Because there's been all sorts of praise heaped, and rightly so, on our frontline staff in the HSE. But we have to remember that keeping us going through all this, our frontline staff in our shops, who are literally feeding us. So where's that message? Sorry, lads. This is a message from Carl.
Could you give a quick shout out to the staff in Tala Village? They are doing a fantastic job under the circumstances. The staff are running around to keep the shelves stocked and the tills manned. Despite the extra pressures, are still willing to stop and help individuals when asked. They now have umbrellas outside available for the people, public queuing outside, and sanitizer for the handles. It saddens me to hear how badly they're being treated. So I just want to say a big thank you from the non-crazy public.
Okay, and he's actually referring to Lidl in Tala Village, so well done. Now, this... Oh, they're flying in already. Billy.
Lads, just want to say a big thank you to Gary and the staff of Centra Kilmessan in County Meath. Fantastic service, fantastic staff, doing absolutely everything possible to keep people happy, safe, and shelves are always full. Just want to say shout out to them guys. They're doing a great service to the area. Cheers, lads.
All right, thanks very much indeed. Send us a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98 if you want to give a shout out to a particular store or a particular staff member in a particular store that you want to give particular mention to. Send us a WhatsApp voice note only to 0877 98 98 98. This is from Steve.
How are you, Adrian? Love to give a big shout out there to the staff in Duns in Northside. I was over there last night with the wife doing the shopping, and complimentary tea and coffee for anybody waiting in the queue, all very civilised and managed correctly. Social distancing and spacing with good humour and a great service. So all the girls there on the checkouts in Northside and the lads, fair play and thanks very much.
All right, good man, Steve. Thank you very much indeed. This is from Deborah.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to the staff in Tesco in Wicklow Town and in Little in Wicklow. They're absolutely amazing, great patients, and they're so supportive of the people going in. And then you've got the people giving out about queues and keeping your distance, but the staff in both Tesco and Little in Wicklow are amazing.
Great, Deborah. Thank you very much indeed. Where am I going now? This is from Elizabeth.
Hello, hi. I've just heard your topic there mention about the staff. Clondorkin, Tesco's are so wonderful. I was so stressed out last week. I'm a mother of a special needs little girl, and my mum is cocooning. She's 75, and I went in. I was just so stressed, and girl in Tesco's literally got a bottle of wine off the shelf, paid for it and gave it to me. She's actually staff in Clondorkin Tesco's. Just a wonderful vibe. Everybody is smiling. The staff is so polite. Thanks.
That's lovely to hear. And it just flies in the face, these messages, and we're being flooded with messages of people wanting to compliment staff and supermarkets in particular for a job well done, and it just flies in the face of the ignorance that some customers are throwing at them. This is a WhatsApp voice note from Dan.
How's it going, Adrian? Just like to say a big thanks to Derek, who works in Tesco Clearwater. He's worked there for a good few years now, but he's always been a standout employee. Very courteous, very polite, always willing to have a chat, maybe sometimes too much. But yeah, even since this is all kicked off, he's been an absolute gent, and also his wife, who works on the front line as a nurse. So fair play to both of them for giving us what we need.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Dan. And by the way, if you hear any store mentioned or any staff member mentioned and you happen to be in that store over the next day or two, let them know that they were thanked on 98 FM. Okay. Peter sent me this.
Good morning, Adrian. I'd like to give a massive shout out to two supermarkets. Aldi in Sandyford Industrial Estate there, just beside the Beacon. Their staff are doing an absolute fantastic job. They're great in the queuing system, and they're helping everybody out as much as they can. I've seen them helping older people, younger people. They're going above and beyond. Absolutely fantastic. And then Super Value up in Bellally Shopping Centre.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Peter. We're going to take a quick break. I'll play a few more. I'll only have time to play a few more of your WhatsApp voice notes after the break, but stay with us. We're thanking supermarkets and staff in particular for the job that they're doing over the last couple of weeks. If they're doing a particularly good job, send us a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98, and I'll play as many as I can in just a second.
The sound of the city, from Sallynoggin to Swords. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
All right, it's nice to see people actually being nice rather than rude, and saying thank you to staff and to particular supermarkets. A lot of them coming in. I'm not going to get to play them all, I'm afraid. So don't be disappointed if I don't get to yours. This is from Christopher.
Hello, I just want to say a huge thank you to all the Aldi staff that's working up in Charlestown. They do a great job, in particular my wife Lynn, she works up there. That's great, thanks.
All right, thank you, Christopher. John in Finglas as well.
Morning, Adrian. Morning, lads. I'd like to give a huge big shout out to all the staff down at Lidl in Glasnevin, doing a fantastic job. They should be getting a big clap every evening as well. Great staff, great service. Thanks a million. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much indeed, John. This is from Michelle.
Out to all the staff in Centre and Cramelsport Avenue there in Walkintown. Always friendly and always helpful. Shelves are always fully stocked, and if there's anything you need, they will always help you out. To Damien and all the guys, well done.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Michelle. Let's have a listen to Laura's message.
I'd like to say a big thank you to Dunnes Stores and City West Tala, and especially to the girl on the customer service desk. I think her name is Nave, but she's a lovely, friendly little girl. Always welcome you into the store, big smile on her face. It's a pleasure to shop there.
That's lovely to hear, Laura. Thanks very much indeed. Elaine sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
Big shout out to the staff in Mace in Raheny. They're looking after the elderly absolutely amazingly. The old folks' flats are beside us, and each day they deliver the newspapers or any goods. Two of the staff go round, knock on the doors and deliver the items that they have ordered. Not only that, every Wednesday they're offering the people cocooning in the area free dinners, and they're delivering them to the door. So it's a dinner they're getting with the free dessert as well, and they're just absolutely amazing. The staff are brilliant, and big shout out to them and thanks from all.
That's lovely to hear, Elaine, and that's a great service, that really is. Here's another WhatsApp voice note.
I'd love to say a huge thanks to Sandra, one of the managers in Duns in City West, and all the staff there, Duns in Saggart and the staff in Little City West. Everybody has been amazing. They're doing an amazing job helping everybody out, getting the queues going as quickly as possible, a smile on their faces, and making things a little bit easier for everybody who has to get out shopping. Well done to everybody.
And that was from Jean. Thank you very much indeed for your message, Jean. We'll play a few more. This is Mandy.
Thank all the staff in Edenderry, Aldi's, especially Stephen and Michelle. Doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Carmel sent me this one.
Okay. Northside Shopping Centre, John Store staff are so nice to everybody. They have free tea and coffee for all, and they have a basket checkout, a trolley checkout, and a senior citizen checkout. They couldn't be nicer.
Okay, that's the second mention of Dunnes Stores in Northside Shopping Centre. So well done to all of the staff in Dunnes and Northside. In fact, a couple of messages also complimenting you in tea and coffee and everything else. That's fantastic. Jane.
Hi, I'd like to make a shout out to Dunnes in the Mill in Clondalkin for all their great work, and also to Tesco in Liffey Valley. I'd like to especially mention two staff members, Lana in Dunnes in the Mill and Nolene in Liffey Valley. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, Jane. We've three more to play, and if I didn't get to yours, I apologise. This is from Anto.
To all the staff in the Beacon, Stanford, thank you very much for all your help, and the staff, and especially Natalie Brannon, who helped me the other day. Thank you very much.
Very
Bye-bye.
good, Anto. Thank you. Sinead.
I'd like to give out a big shout out to my dad. He is manager and advanced pit stop in Dunleary. He's there for all the frontline staff workers, and a big shout out to Amy Hoare, my sister-in-law, who's working in a chemist up in Stillorgan. Hats off to all the frontline workers. He's doing a great job.
All right, and one last one from Adrian.
Hi Adrian, can you give a big shout out and a big thank you to all the staff in Donaghmede Shopping Centre, in Dunnes Stores, for Catherine Doherty Byrne, Maria MacDonald, Mary Burney, for the news centre, for Margaret and Joe for keeping things going, and for All Care Pharmacy, for Lorraine, Leona and Molly. Thank you.
And once again, my apologies to you if I didn't get to your message. We're just swamped. So that's something we'll come back to again as well, because I think it is important for us to recognise the people that are going to work every day for us. And like I said, they don't have to be doctors and nurses to be considered frontline staff. So well done to everybody in all the supermarkets. Keep up the good work. And as you could hear, a lot of people are very grateful for the service that you're providing. Now, just before we wrap up the show, this is a conversation we were hoping to have, but we'll probably carry over until tomorrow, because it's fair to say that lots of us are drinking more than ever during the current lockdown. The off licences are doing a roaring trade. I'll give you stats in a moment, and I'll also be talking to a man who believes that it's time to reduce the opening hours of off licences to stop us drinking so much. The sale of take-home alcohol in recent weeks is almost 40% higher than in the same period last year. Some 158 million was spent on off-trade alcohol in the 4 weeks leading up to the 5th of April, and has continued to pace throughout the whole of April. And a lot of us are drinking more than we normally would even. Obviously off sales have increased because the pubs are closed, but off sales have increased even more than the whole amount of alcoholic consumption would normally be in the country, if you know what I mean. So just because the pubs are closed, we're actually drinking even more than we normally would. And I have a question for you. I'd like you to vote on this. I want you to send me a yes or no answer to this question. And my question is very simple. Should we restrict the opening hours of off licences? Simply text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Simply text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Should we restrict the opening hours of off licences to try and curb a little bit how much we're drinking? Because a lot of us are drinking more than we normally do. Simply text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. As I said, the sales of alcohol have dramatically increased in recent weeks. And joining me on the line to tell us a little bit more about this and to get his reaction is Ewan McKinney from Alcohol Action Ireland. And Ewan, let me start by asking you firstly, what is your reaction to those figures?
Well, I think what they say is that there's clearly the drinking population of Ireland who would normally go to the pub and consume alcohol in the trade, in an on-trade license, have obviously replaced that activity by bringing that level of alcohol home into their homes, and like at the level of 40% and higher. In fact, like the weekend in the 12th of April, we can see there was 44% rise in alcohol sales from the off trade. What we would say is that level of alcohol being poured into people's homes at a time of great difficulty and at a time of great stress for families is not particularly helpful. And we would be cautious to say to people, look, temporary habits can become permanent, and we just need to be mindful that alcohol, sadly, is no comfort to anybody in terms of dealing with the anxieties and the stresses. In fact, what alcohol does is it is a depressant in itself, and it will accentuate and exacerbate the problems that we would face in relation to anxiety or stress.
Okay, so what I was reading is that on average, under normal circumstances, 70% of our drinking would be at home and 30% of it would be in a pub environment. But that now obviously is 100% at home, and people are drinking the same amount, if not more, during these times.
Yeah, well, you couldn't necessarily say they're drinking more, but what they are doing is they're drinking alcohol at home. And obviously in a domestic setting, when we're consuming alcohol, it's a very unrestricted environment. It's a free-flowing environment. And obviously in the context where there are families involved, in particular where there's children involved and young adults, there's now greater unrestricted access to alcohol. And in our normal work and our day-to-day advocacy, we try to highlight the difficulty around the 200,000 children who live every day of their lives with parental alcohol misuse. And the point we would make in relation to what's occurring now with that additional level of alcohol coming into homes is that the lives of those 200,000 children are certainly under pressure, under greater pressure. And families in particular, I think all families will be under pressure if that level of alcohol is now being consumed at home. Okay, so you'd obviously like to see people reduce their alcohol intake rather than drink as much as they normally would. For sure, absolutely. I mean, again, in our normal work, in an everyday thing, if the drinking population, which is around 80% of the adult population, consume alcohol, like if they were all to be drinking alcohol within what are the HSE low risk guidelines, we would actually be drinking 40% than we do at the moment. So we would say to people, look, the HSE is providing us with strong advice, the Department of Health, strong advice in relation to COVID-19. They equally provide you with good advice in relation to the consumption of alcohol, especially in the way to do it in a low-risk way. And that way, we would remind people to say, try to stick within the low-risk guidelines. For men, that's 17 standard drinks a week, 11 standard drinks for women. And if we can do that, we won't have any particular large issues arising. But we can see, even from today, there's related reports from the Gardaí talking in terms of 20% increase in domestic violence episodes. And we're not necessarily, I'm not going to draw the comparison between the two, but there is certainly evidence in the past to relate alcohol to these types of incidents.
Okay, now one of the issues, as you mentioned, of drinking at home is it's unregulated. So unless you happen to have a spirit measure, you'll probably free flow spirits into a glass. You can drink as much as you like without anybody refusing to give you a drink behind a bar. So there are all of those issues that people need to be thinking about when they are drinking at home.
Exactly, and that's the point of where I think what we will see is we'll see people having increasingly risky single occasions around heavy episodic drinking. You know, obviously people are been a bit cautious about going to the A&E or the emergency departments, but, you know, I would think that we would see perhaps a spike into the A&E departments in relation to how people maybe consuming too much alcohol in short bursts. And that in itself, as a practice, is just simply not good for your health. You know, it's not good for your liver, it's not good for your organs. It's just a generally poor way to live a life around alcohol. So again, to come back to the point, remember to try it. I don't want to sound too preachy in relation to this people, but I mean, I understand that people are under pressure, and some people will, you know, traditionally as a society, I think we've always looked to alcohol as a source of comfort at a time of difficulty or stress. But I think in this context, when we're having to cocoon ourselves in our homes, I think that the level of alcohol is just to be treated with great caution. And I think in that sense, we would say to certainly the National Public Health Emergency Team, who are doing a terrific job in organising our society around all of this COVID-19 response, perhaps they should consider looking at some issues around the restriction of alcohol sales, you know, by maybe, you know, we could certainly consider limiting the opening hours, or even in other countries where they've, you know, put individual quantities limits on what can be purchased.
Okay, so you would like to see that being done now in the middle of this crisis?
Yeah, I think we early on in the crisis we saw that alcohol sales was regarded as an essential service, and we certainly questioned that at the time. But you know, we saw the validity in obviously maintaining people's connection with alcohol, because, you know, we do have such a high engagement with alcohol. But now, as we see consistently these levels of high consumption of alcohol, or certainly the high levels of volumes of alcohol coming into homes, that it might be worth looking at that and coupling it with what we see, as I say today, a 20% rise in domestic violence. You know, maybe we need to have a conversation around thinking about restricting some opening hours, or perhaps the level of sales to individuals.
Okay, I'd be very interested to find out how our listeners feel about that in terms of restricting the sales hours for alcohol here in Ireland during this COVID-19 pandemic. Una McKinney, it's been interesting. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Head of Communications and Advocacy for Alcohol Action Ireland. Una, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Adrian.
And we are going to come back to this conversation tomorrow. I'm interested to know whether or not you think there should be restricted hours for off licences, or should there be a limit on, as Ewan just said, a limit on how much you can actually purchase. Interesting conversation, which we'll have tomorrow morning. And if there's anything else that you would like us to bring up on the programme tomorrow, send us an email right now to Dublin Talks, all one word, at 98fm.com. Dublin Talks, all one word, at 98fm.com. I'm Adrian Kennedy. Hope you have a lovely Thursday afternoon. Barry Dunn is on the way. And in the next hour, he's got some great music lined up, like these.
Glad you came. The sun goes down. 98 FM.